What up? Say so G. Back with another topic, back with another video. So the title of this video is going to be Are Layoffs Destroying America? So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribers that have subscribed to my channel. I endeavor to keep pushing these videos out, to give you leverage to better yourselves. So let's get into it. So, are layoffs destroying America? Well, the quick and simple answer is no, in my opinion, right? I don't have statistics to back these numbers up or, to back up what I'm saying. But, when you look at the grand scheme of things, when it comes to all these layoffs happening right now, 2025, February timeframe, speaking of which, I'm in DC right now and it's 60 degrees and it's the end of February. That was going. I'm actually about to be sweating in this jacket, yo. It's crazy. But, like I said, when it comes to the grand scheme of things of like how many folks are being laid off and all these federal workers are, losing their jobs, and even the private sector having issues right now with, with keeping jobs and trying to find some. If you were to gather all those folks up, they've been laid off, fired, whatever the case may be, and you put them into one section of America, right? And you look at all the other adults, not even counting kids, but just the other adults that actually have jobs and are not in threat of actually being fired or laid off, it's a small number, right? What happens is that when news like this happens, bad news, right? I've always talked about on this channel that bad news sells a lot quicker than good news does. So, this is really sensationalized as far as like all these layoffs and the Trump administration, doing this overhaul of the government. So, news media is capitalizing on this stuff. So I'm not saying they're lying about numbers. I'm not saying that, these folks that they're actually coming up on interviews and talking about this thing are lying or fibbing or stretching the truth. Because, losing a job is a very emotional thing, yo. It really is. I've been there, right? So, I'm not saying this stuff is not authentic, but what I am saying is just like anything else in news media, stuff gets boosted up a lot more than what it should be. It really does. It's the same thing with with all these planes having issues, right? Like, yeah, it's really uncommon for a plane to have issues, but for me to sit here and say that planes don't have issues every single year, I mean, I'd be crazy to not think that, right? And because of some of these unfortunate accidents that have happened recently over the last 2 months, it seems like the news media is capitalizing, and every little freaking thing that happens with a freaking airplane that they're talking about right now, right? So it's gonna be the same thing with layoffs. It's gonna be the same thing with firings. It's gonna be the same thing with downsizing and all of that, right? They capitalize it on the news. They capitalize it on this information that can push their news outlet out there, right? Same thing with content creators and social media influencers. They capitalize on this thing too, right? I've seen a couple of folks actually do interviews, talk to folks, and get their own spill on things. Not saying that they're doing something bad by doing that. I'm just saying, like, it's opportunity is always going to be grabbed by folks that want to be successful and to push information out there in a narrative. So I think a lot of folks are really, taking all the information in and are, I mean, they're really embodying it, and they're getting a lot. How should I say? They're getting a lot more fearful than what they should be. They really are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying for folks not to be concerned. I'm just saying, like, some of the ways that these folks are feeling about this thing is actually like it's over the top, yo. It really is. It's over the top. And all it's doing is just putting you in a situation to where you're not being functional. You're not functioning. You're not functioning properly, right? And all that's going to do is it just cause more problems, right? Especially if you got a family. You cannot have yourself in a situation where you cannot function. You got a family to take care of. You know what I'm saying? This goes for husbands. This goes for single mothers, wives. Doesn't matter who it is, right? You got to be functional, right? And like I said, when it comes to to layoffs, yes, it is a concern. I do believe that folks need to talk about it. I do believe that folks need to address it. I totally get that, right? But is it destroying America? No, it's not. Not even close, yo. Do you understand how resilient Americans are? Do you know how resilient America as a whole is? Right? Like, I mean, think about some of these catastrophes that happen in America, and America has bounced back every single freaking time. you might well almost compare America as like the stock market. The stock market could be in a freaking tank, and you give it a couple of months, maybe like a year or so, and it's you back up, you up, right? So it's the same thing with Americans. The same thing with America as a whole, right? It's the reason why folks come over here to try to get the American dream, right? Do you really believe that, the folks that are looking on the outside looking in, see all these layoffs and still believe that they don't want to come to America? Of course they want to still come here. Layoffs or not, right? Now immigration, yeah, that's a little bit different, right? Because yes, the immigration laws are getting really, really tight, and folks are being fearful about being deported. I can talk about that in another video. I do have some thoughts about that. It is what it is, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, it is what it is when it comes to that. I'm not saying that I'm being spiteful, or I guess spiteful is not really the word for it, but it's not like I'm being insensitive when it comes to immigration laws. I'm not saying it at all. That's a real tough. That's really a tough topic to talk about, man. And and it doesn't affect me or my family because, of course, being African American, Black, whatever you want to call me, definitely, my ancestors were immigrants, obviously, right? But as far as like me having an immediate family on either my side or my wife's side, there's no issue when it comes to that. So we're not directly affected, but I do have friends that are affected by that. And, let's roll that into the layoffs, right? So you have a lot of immigrants that were doing a lot of jobs in America that people do, that your normal American, and I know that's kind of harsh to say and everything, but like, your typical American that like, they didn't want to do these crazy jobs for little pay. You had a lot of immigrants that were undocumented that were doing these jobs and getting paid, but the money they're getting, the American money they're getting is damn near 10 times more than what they were getting in their own country. So, so these were jobs that were sought after, right? Now you got the immigration laws that have literally like decimated that job pool, right? So now you have a lot of these contractors, a lot of these companies that are like struggling to, to hire folks to do the jobs the immigrants are doing. Once again, layoffs, right? The immigration laws have caused layoffs because, either the person didn't show up, or they're like, if I'm here and I know I'm undocumented, but I'm working, like it's not a good look. I got to bounce, right? I saw a video, I think about maybe 2 days ago, where this family was being interviewed, and I think the person that was being interviewed, they're a naturalized citizen. I think that's what you call it. Like, you're born here, right? So your parents are immigrants, but you were born here, so you're by default an American, but they weren't. They were undocumented, and they pretty much said that their peoples was going to leave here, like voluntarily. Like, they didn't want to get deported. They rather just go ahead and just bounce, right? Not deal with ICE, not deal with being arrested or anything like that, or being detained, because they're like it's if I'm gonna have to wind up leaving anyway, right? So why should I go through the rigor of being captured, which is crazy to say, you know what I'm saying? But to be captured and then and be put in detention for God knows how long until I get sent back to my country, I probably would just go ahead and just bounce, right? But once again, those illegal immigrants that are here working jobs, that's a part of the layoff process, right? So, when it comes to numbers, I didn't even count the illegal immigrants here doing jobs, right? So, because some of them are not paying taxes, right? So, I want folks to really, keep this in context and really, embody what I'm saying when it comes to like how folks are saying or believing that America is going down the drain, and these layoffs are going to just destroy the economy, all those other things. Look, holler at me later on this year, 2025, and let me know how the economy is right now. Honestly, I believe the economy is going to blow up. Layoffs or not, you know what I'm saying? I totally truly believe it. I think the economy is going to blow up. Now, folks may say that it may blow up just for the rich or for the high middle class. I can't speak to that. You know what I'm saying? I really can't, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, I don't run the Victim Olympics. I'm going to say that again. I don't run the Victim Olympics, meaning that I'm not a victim when it comes to things happening to me negatively, right? Yeah, there are some things that are out of my control. There are some things that were out of my control when it came to certain things happening to me. But I'm not going to sit here and blame society. I'm not going to sit here and blame a certain person or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something negative happens to me, I'm just going to pull myself up by my bootstraps and get it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. And I'm saying, like, life is going to throw you curveballs, y'all. Life is going to throw you curveballs all the time, right? Things not going to be easy every single day of your life. It's going to be some challenges. That's one of the reasons why we're here. That's one of the reasons why we're here, yo. You know what I'm saying? I do believe that, that God put us here to prosper. I totally get that. But there has to be some challenges in that. You have to go through something in order to get that intestinal fortitude to make it through life, right? You can't be soft in anything you do, right? So, these layoffs that are going on right now, these are going to harden people. And I'm not saying this as for like it's going to harden their heart. I'm saying it's going to harden them to, to put themselves in the best position possible. So if anything like this happens again, they're prepared for it, right? And I said before in another video, a job is not safe, y'all. It just isn't. So, stop believing the hype when it comes to news media, social media, any kind of media, right? When it comes to these folks sensationalizing these stories and making it seem like America is in the tank. Folks are still trying to get in here, yo. Folks are still trying to get to America, even after all this stuff going on, even after, the president has said certain things, right? They're still trying to get here because America is still a wonderful place to be at. When I compare, how American life is when it comes to other countries, there's no comparison, yo. There really isn't. Yes, there are some other countries that, that I would not mind spending with my wife because the cost of living is a lot cheaper. I would get a lot more bang for my buck when it comes to it. But when it comes to quality of life as a whole, like, I would not trade America for anything. I would not trade American life for anything. It's not even close, yo. It's not even close. Me and my wife have gone to some very, very beautiful areas of the world, have traveled, did vacation, everything like that. And, it was good for like a week, 2 weeks, however long we was there. But when we got back home, it's nothing like being home, right? And, when I looked at like all the amenities that I have as an American versus what I had or what I had access to in other countries, it's no comparison. So, in any case, layoffs not destroying America, y'all. Your mind state is destroying America. You're destroying yourself. You're destroying your own mind state. America is going to be okay. America is going to be okay. I promise you. All right? So, you want me to discuss the topic or subject you think the benefits of the channel? Email me at asog757@gmail.com. My email address, description below. Say so G, signing out. I'm gone.